Oggi abbiamo con noi Jo Anne Barnhart, che era capo della Social Security in America, commissario per la Social Security da 2001 a 2007. Welcome to www.alanfriedman.it. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Alan. I'm delighted to be here.
Jo Anne, I want to describe the size and dimension of the American pension system a moment. In Italia si spende circa 300 miliardi, un po' meno di 300 miliardi di euro all'anno per le pensioni, su un totale delle spese pubbliche di 800 miliardi, quindi più di un terzo, 36-37% della spesa pubblica. In America?
In America, we spend over $816 billion a year in Social Security. To put that in perspective, our total federal budget is around $3.7 trillion. So Social Security payments account for roughly 1/5 of the budget.
Circa 20% a questo punto in America contro 36-37% in Italia, quindi molto meno. But when you left in 2007, what was the size of it and has it grown a lot? Ma quando lei ha lasciato la Social Security nel 2007, quanto grande era e quanto ha cresciuto?
That's a very good question. And it's interesting. It's actually grown significantly since 2007. It was approximately $550 billion a year in 2007. The reason for that immense growth in a really short period of time is the aging of the baby boomers. They account for the largest, cohort of a population in the United States, and we've had 8 million more people join the Social Security rolls since I left. It was 50 million in 2007. It's 58 million today.
Ok, quindi una crescita demografica anche in America. Ma descrivimi un po' come funziona il sistema pensionistico in America. Give me a sense of how the system works, what people pay in, and things like that.
Well, basically, every single person who is employed, virtually everyone, pays into Social Security. A total of 12.4% has to be contributed to Social Security. If you are working...
12.4% of your salary.
Yes, well, no, 12.4% total. 6.2% from the employer, 6.2% from the employee.
And that's the contribution. And at what age do people retire in America? Quanti anni si va in pensione? L'età pensionabile?
The full retirement age in America is right now on a rolling basis because there were some changes made in 1983 that extended the age at which you could retire, but very gradually, over a very long period of time, literally going up like 1 month every year. So, for example, it used to be that 65 was the full retirement age, but for people who are retiring this year, it will probably be 67. 66 and a half, 66 years and 3 months, 66 years and 9 months. It depends on your birthday.
That's the same for men and women.
Yes, it's exactly, and that's interesting because that's not the case all over the world. There are places where women had earlier retirement ages. The United States has always had it the same. We do have a provision, however, which allows you to retire early. If you choose to retire at age 62, you get a reduced benefit forever.
Quanto meno se uno va in pensione a 62? How much less?
It's not a huge amount less, and in fact, many people, the vast majority of people, retire at age 62 because the fact is, depending on how long you live, quite frankly, you more than make up the difference by getting the benefit earlier, the smaller benefit earlier.
Average, how much less? Quanto meno?
Average, probably somewhere around 25 or 30%.
Less?
Less.
25-30% meno pensione, quindi se uno prendesse $1,000, uno prenderebbe $700-750. Non è poco in Italia. That's not a small amount in Italy for the Italians. What's the average size of a pension?
The average Social Security pension is about $1,200.
So, la media $1,200, che sarebbe, sì, circa, ormai con 900 euro, poco più di 900 euro. And what has been the system that, how much of your previous salary do you receive as your pension? E questa è una domanda importante perché sto chiedendo quanto dello stipendio precedente uno prende in pensione, perché in Italia la media è fra 60 e 70% dello stipendio precedente. Non sarà così in futuro quando la riforma Fornero arriverà e scenderà, si può anche dimezzare, ma questo accadrà fra 10 o 15 o 20 anni. Chi va in pensione oggi mediamente riceve fra 60 e 70% del loro stipendio precedente in Italia. In America?
That's a very good question. Actually, it's a very astute question, and a lot of people don't really focus on what is an incredibly important point. And it's what we call the replacement rate in Social Security.
Cioè il tasso di sostituzione, diciamo.
Yes. So if you make up to approximately $20,000 a year over your lifetime average earnings, you will get a replacement rate of 56%.
Okay.
If you make $44,000 a year, which is close to median income, you will get a replacement rate of about 42%. If you make $115,000 or more, you will get a replacement rate of 26%.
So, just to be clear, questo è affascinante perché se stiamo dicendo che per chi ha guadagnato fino a $20,000 si prende una media di 56% del 56% of the previous salary at the $20,000 level.
That's correct.
Poi si va al ceto medio, middle class, and it's about 42% media.
Yes.
E poi si va per, diciamo, i benestanti abbienti, più di $115,000, va giù a
26%.
26% dello stipendio. Però anche per i più poveri, 56% non è molto, ma è affascinante che in 3 livelli e sembra equità sociale. It seems like social equity, that the poorest get more, the middle class gets in the middle, and the richest get only 25% of their previous salaries.
Yes, in essence, it's very similar to progressive income tax. It's the same philosophy, same dynamic at work. And the way we get there, frankly, is the way that the retirement benefit is calculated. When someone retires, we look at the 40 years of retirement. We drop out the lowest 5 years of earnings, and then we calculate an average monthly earnings rate over your lifetime. And of course, we index wages for inflation, from when you first started working. The way the benefit is calculated, for the first $791 a month that you earn, you get 90% of that.
Huh.
Okay? Between the $791 and roughly $4,800 a month, you get 32%.
Huh.
Between everything over 4,800 and up to 4,800 up to 115, you get that same amount, but over 115, you get 15%.
Ok, quindi è veramente progressivo, è affascinante, ma è sostenibile, but is it sustainable in America?
Well, that's also a very good question, and this is something that's obviously been subject to substantial debate. Certainly, the debate started actually in 1997, when the first Social Security trustee report announced that the system was not going to be solvent into the future. We look 75 years out in America. And ever since then, the whole time I was commissioner, and I was a member of the Board of Trustees, the board continued every year to issue this financial report on the financial status of the system, and every single year we said that the funds are going to run out. Right now, the projection from the latest report is that in 2033, there will be no more funds for Social Security,
No more money.
other than what is coming in every month.
Huh.
So you take in, we have what is called a pay-as-you-go system. People pay the taxes, the 6.2, the employer pays the 6.2. Every month we pay benefits out. Whatever's left, by law, is required to be used to purchase special issue government bonds that become the Social Security Trust Fund. The trust fund today is worth $2.7 trillion.
Sounds like a lot of money. Sembra tanti soldi.
Absolutely.
2.700 miliardi di dollari.
It sounds like a lot of money, except as you know, and as people who buy bonds realize, when you buy a bond, you're really lending that money to the government.
Well, I'll give you another way of thinking of it. That's only really, if you're spending $800 a year and you have $2.7 trillion, that's really only 4 or 5 years of pension.
That's correct.
Cioè, veramente se il fondo americano ha 2.700 miliardi di dollari, sembra tanto, ma se si spendono 800 miliardi all'anno, è 4 anni, semmai, meno.
Yes, and of course the idea would be that it would continue to grow over time, But
Yeah.
right now, that's what we have.
By the way, you don't think America will default. There will be a solution to this.
I absolutely think they will. I do.
Find a solution.
They will find a solution, absolutely. The reason they will is...
Scusami, chiedevo se lei pensa che sulla questione dell'alzamento del tetto di debito si trova la soluzione prima del 17 ottobre, e lei dice certamente si trova la soluzione.
Yes, I absolutely believe that a solution will be found. It's just that unfortunately we don't tend to deal with things far into the future. We tend to operate more of a crisis mode in America, where when the problem becomes extremely acute, we've known, as I said, since 1997, it's now 2013, nothing has been done to address the problem.
And politicians play games everywhere, not just in Italy, also in America.
Yeah,